Most people spend their entire lives waiting. They wait for the right time, the right amount of money, the right situation, the right confidence to take action. They convince themselves that one day, when the stars align, when everything feels just perfect, they will finally go after their dream. But the truth is, that day never comes. There will always be something that feels incomplete. There will always be one more thing that needs to be done, one more piece of preparation that feels necessary, one more reason to wait just a little longer. And by the time you realize it, years have passed, and the dream you once had is still sitting in the same place, untouched, unfulfilled, and slowly fading away. The perfect moment does not exist. It never did. Waiting for perfection is like standing at a bus stop for a bus that will never arrive. The longer you wait, the more frustrated you become, but you keep telling yourself that if you just hold on a little longer, everything will fall into place. Life doesn't work that way. Life rewards the ones who dare to act, not the ones who sit and wait. The people you admire, the ones you look at and think, they're so lucky, are not lucky. They simply decided to move before they were ready. They started with fear in their chest and doubt in their mind, but they started anyway. Think about every great success story you know. Steve Jobs didn't wait until he had $1 billion company before building the first Apple computer. He started in a small garage with limited tools, limited money, and no guarantee that anyone would care. Oprah didn't wait until everyone approved of her before becoming one of the most powerful voices in media. In fact, she was told she wasn't good enough for television. She started anyway. J.K. Rowling didn't wait until life was comfortable before writing Harry Potter. She wrote it while broke, struggling, and rejected multiple times by publishers. They all have one thing in common: they didn't wait for perfect. Waiting is dangerous because it makes you believe you're being productive when you're not. You feel like you're planning, preparing, strategizing, but really you're stalling. You're giving fear more time to grow roots. You're letting self-doubt get louder. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to take the first step, because now you're not just fighting fear, you're fighting the weight of wasted time. You start telling yourself that maybe it's too late, that you missed your chance, that maybe it was never meant for you. But here's what you need to hear today: it is not too late. You have not missed your chance. The perfect moment is not coming, because the perfect moment is already here. Right now, at this very second, you have a choice. You can either keep waiting for a tomorrow that may never come, or you can move today, imperfectly, awkwardly, even clumsily, but you can move. Action is the only thing that creates momentum. When you take even the smallest step forward, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You build confidence not by waiting to feel ready, but by showing up and doing the work even when you're terrified. Your first attempt won't be perfect, and that is exactly how it should be. It's supposed to be messy. The first draft of every great book is full of mistakes. The first business launch often looks chaotic behind the scenes. The first workout leaves you exhausted and sore. But those imperfect first steps are what lead to greatness. You cannot edit a blank page. You cannot improve what you never started. You cannot grow from something that doesn't exist. When you stop waiting for everything to align, you free yourself from the illusion of control. You realize that life will never hand you the perfect conditions. The economy will not always be stable. Your schedule will not always be clear. The people around you will not always support you. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you will never move, because perfection is not real. The question you must ask yourself today is simple. How much longer are you willing to wait? How many more weeks, months, or years are you willing to spend in hesitation? What would happen if you decided to take one small step today, even if it was ugly, even if no one applauded you, even if you stumbled? You would still be further than you were yesterday, and tomorrow you could take another step. Before long, those steps add up. Before long, you look back and realize you are no longer in the same place where you started. You have to stop waiting for permission. No one is coming to save you, to hand you your dream, to clear the path for you. You are the one who has to create the path. And the sooner you start, the sooner you will arrive. If you keep waiting, one day you will wake up and realize that you are not waiting for the perfect moment anymore. You are waiting for another chance at life, and that chance may never come. Today is enough. You are enough. The resources you have right now, the courage you can muster right now, the imperfect situation you are in right now, all of that is enough to begin. Stop telling yourself that you'll try next month, next year, when you feel better, when you have more time. You will not magically have more time later. You will not suddenly feel fearless later. Fear will always be there, but you get to choose whether you bow to it or move anyway. Start now. Start scared. Start unprepared. Start without knowing all the answers. Just start, because starting is the only thing that separates those who live their dreams from those who die with their dreams still inside them. Fear is the biggest reason most people wait. It disguises itself in many ways. Sometimes it sounds like caution, sometimes it sounds like logic, sometimes it even feels like responsibility. But underneath all of it is the same emotion. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear that if you try and it doesn't work out, you'll have to face the painful truth that maybe you weren't good enough. That fear can paralyze you for years. But here is the paradox. The only way to make fear smaller is to walk straight into it. Every time you take a step while you are scared, the fear loses a little bit of its power over you. Your brain starts to understand that you can survive discomfort. You can survive failure. You can survive people not believing in you. You don't need everything to feel safe and certain before you take action. The moment you move despite fear, you turn fear into fuel. People think they need confidence first, and then they'll act, but that's backward. Confidence is a reward that comes after action, not before it. You don't wait until you feel ready to give a speech. You give the speech, and then you become more confident next time. You don't wait until you feel like an entrepreneur to start a business. You start the business, and you grow into the person who can run it. The version of you who is capable of handling success is built by taking steps before you feel ready. Waiting for perfect is also a way of protecting your ego. If you never start, you never have to face the possibility of failing. You get to keep the dream alive in your mind without ever risking it in reality. But a dream that stays in your head will eventually become a weight. It will turn into regret. You'll start asking yourself what might have happened if you had been brave enough to try. That question will follow you everywhere. And here's something most people don't want to hear. The longer you wait, the harder it is to start. Not because the opportunity is gone, but because your mind builds a habit of hesitation. Every time you tell yourself, "Not today," you're teaching your brain that procrastination is normal. You're reinforcing the belief that action can always wait until later. And that habit is dangerous because it bleeds into every area of your life. Suddenly, you're waiting to have hard conversations, waiting to fix your health, waiting to change your finances, waiting to mend relationships. You're not just delaying your dream, you're delaying your entire life. The key to breaking this pattern is momentum. Momentum is what transforms small actions into massive results. Think about pushing a car that is stalled. At first, it feels impossible. The weight of it is too much, and you wonder if it will ever move. But if you keep pushing little by little, it begins to roll. Once it's moving, it gets easier to keep it moving. That's how your life works. The first step feels heavy because you're fighting your own resistance. But once you take that first step, the second becomes easier, and then the third. Suddenly you are in motion, and motion creates clarity. You begin to see what works, what doesn't, what needs to be improved. But you would never know any of that if you had stayed frozen at the starting line. This is why starting small is so powerful. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. You just need to do one thing that moves you closer to where you want to be. If you want to get healthy, go for a 10-minute walk today. If you want to write a book, write one paragraph tonight. If you want to launch a business, spend an hour brainstorming names or building a basic website. These small steps might look insignificant to others, but they are proof to yourself that you are no longer waiting. You are doing. You must also stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. The reason many people wait is because they look at people who are ahead of them and feel like they need to catch up instantly. They think, "I can't start now because I'm too far behind." But those people you compare yourself to had their own imperfect start. They stumbled, they made mistakes, they felt awkward and unprepared. You just didn't see that part of their story because you came in halfway through their journey. Comparing yourself to someone further along is like comparing your first day at the gym to someone who has been training for 10 years. Of course, you won't look like them yet. But if you keep showing up, you will grow. One of the most liberating things you can do is to stop obsessing over outcomes and start focusing on effort. You cannot control how quickly the world responds to your actions, but you can control whether you show up consistently. Every day you choose to act, even when you don't feel like it, you are building discipline. And discipline will take you places motivation cannot. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, weather, stress, and 100 other factors. Discipline is what carries you through when motivation has disappeared. When you act now, you also give yourself the gift of time. Every day you delay is one less day you have to make progress. But every day you act is one more day that compounds toward your growth. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you stopped waiting today. Imagine the strength, the knowledge, the opportunities you could collect in 365 days of consistent action. Your future self is depending on you to make that choice now. There comes a moment in life when you realize no one is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you the life you've been dreaming of. No one is going to show up with a sign saying, "Today is the day, now you can start." That realization can feel heavy at first, but if you embrace it, it will set you free. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission, you take back your power. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to begin. Everything you've been through up until this point, the pain, the disappointments, the false starts, the waiting, has prepared you for this moment. All of it has given you strength, wisdom, and perspective that you didn't have before. You are more ready than you think. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is a decision. It is the moment you look fear in the face and say, "I'm going anyway." Yes, you will fail. Yes, you will make mistakes. But that is not a reason to stop. It is the reason to start sooner. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. Every failure teaches you something you could not have learned by staying safe. The people who win in life are not the ones who avoid falling. They are the ones who get back up faster every single time. Imagine how unstoppable you could become if failure no longer scared you. Imagine if every time you got knocked down, you saw it as proof that you were in the fight, that you were moving, that you were alive. You have been waiting for perfect because you think perfect will protect you. You think if you just wait long enough, you'll be able to skip the pain, the embarrassment, the uncertainty. But pain is part of growth. Uncertainty is part of progress. Every breakthrough in life happens on the other side of discomfort. And the truth is, waiting hurts too. It just hurts quietly. It eats at you from the inside, whispering that you could have been more, that you could have tried, that you let fear win. That quiet pain turns into regret, and regret is heavier than any failure you will ever experience. So stop waiting. Stop telling yourself that tomorrow will be easier. Stop letting fear write your story. Stand up and do the thing that scares you today. Launch the business, make the phone call, write the first page, send the email, sign up for the class, tell the person you love them, apply for the job, take the leap. Stop waiting for the universe to send you a sign. This is your sign. Life is shorter than you think. There are no guarantees about how much time you have left. One day, all of us will run out of tomorrows. And when that day comes, you will not care about the times you stumbled, the times you looked silly, the times people judged you. You will only care about whether you lived fully, whether you used the gifts you were given, whether you tried. The pain of falling is temporary. The pain of never trying is forever. You are capable of more than you can imagine. Deep down, you already know this. That is why you feel restless when you don't move. That is why you can't stop thinking about the dream you've been hiding from. That dream is calling you because it was placed inside you for a reason. It is yours, and no one else can bring it to life but you. But you must begin. Not next year. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. Now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself 1 year from today if you take action right now. Imagine the confidence you will have built, the progress you will have made, the life you will have created. Then imagine yourself 1 year from now if you stay exactly where you are. Nothing will have changed. You will still be waiting, still wondering, still wishing. Which version of yourself do you want to meet? The one who was brave enough to start, or the one who kept waiting for a bus that never came? You have a choice to make. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Right now. This is the moment that separates the dreamers from the doers, the watchers from the winners, the people who almost lived from the people who truly lived. This is your turning point. Step into it with courage. Step into it with faith. Step into it knowing that you are ready, because you are. The world is waiting for what you have to offer, but it cannot wait forever. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Stop waiting for perfect. It's time to start.